G'day guys and welcome, my name is Michael and I am the DeadAussieGamer and welcome to episode 6 of Minion Quest, our D&D 5th edition adventure that follows the tale of 4 monsters as they set out into the world of Alestria searching for a messenger who has learnt the location and the existence of monsters within their dungeon home. Now, many things have happened over the last few weeks. Our monsters have found the town of Robinwood and have disguised themselves as heroes. They have ingratiated themselves among the people by performing heroic tasks here and there. Well, this did not stop last week, as our heroes managed to track down and find a group of children who had been stranded in a treehouse by a vicious monster known as a bulette. Thinking quick, our monster friends managed to rally together and save the children from the treehouse, but not before Ray was snatched into the jaws of the mighty beast. All seemed lost, and it seemed as though a second death was looming for our poor, hollow cleric, but they were saved at the last minute by an unsuspecting ally, Lord Valiant, the very hero our group is trying to avoid luring back to their dungeon. Well, now confronted with this hero face to face, what will our monsters do? Will they instigate a massive brawl and fight him here and now? Or will they perhaps try and negotiate? I mean, who knows? Well, I guess we'll find out in a minute. So, so sit back, relax, and enjoy as we join Brick, our Orc Barbarian, Ray, our Hollow Cleric, Manfred, our Wizard, Manticore, and Stickyfingers, our Grung Rogue, in today's episode of Minion Quest, entitled The Pride and the Poltergeist. Enjoy. Now, at no point has Sir Valiant ever made eye contact with any of you. The only thing he ever seems to look at is his own reflection in the guard of his mirrored blade. And he says, "Fear not, citizens, for I, Lord Valiant, have come to your rescue. You no need to thank me. Just remember, it is dangerous in these woods, for filth and villainy lies within every surface, even the ground. Arise, poor lady," as he casts a cure spell upon his hand and lays it on the forehead of Ray. And as he casts it, he turns with a flourish of his cape and he says, "There, I have saved you." Now, Ray, you are a hollow, which is a type of undead. The healing spell does nothing. You're still unconscious, and you're still just there. Brick, Stickyfingers, and Manfred, the three of you see this very, very shiny armor, almost so hard to look at. These bright red tassels, golden like little tiny little accents, a brooch made of amethyst, and you see this laurel wreath curled into his weave as this hero stands before you.
Can we have that? Sorry.
Oh, of course. Well, where are my manners? He looks around and he picks up what appears to be a splintered bit of tree. He throws the branch up into the air and with a flash of his blade, catches the branch. He then hands it to you, again, still staring at his own reflection.
I meant the woman, but please don't throw her up and do that.
Oh, well.
Who are you?
He gestures the stick at you.
I'm good, thank you. Actually, you know what? I will take it.
As you take the stick, you see it reads in very, very fine cursive, "Lord Valiant, hero of Altridge."
Manfred, do something, please.
What I am actually doing is I'm actually sort of holding my sort of right hand out, just like sort of holding Stickyfingers sort of back a little bit. It's like just stay distant from this one. It's
But isn't that the guy we have to kill? And isn't Brick asking for help? What do you expect me to do?
What are you all saying? What are you saying over there?
do you see what he did to that land shark thing?
That's a good point. Maybe we could just have a chat with him. We're coming, Brick. Don't worry.
All right. What's your favorite color?
My favorite
You said
color.
talk to him.
My favorite color. Oh, I didn't realize this was a was a fan panel. Well, I would have to say that my favorite character is, oh, sorry, my favorite color is an auburn, but only when it's being hit by autumn sunlight through the glass of a stained glass window. There is a beautiful cathedral. He is going to keep going on like this.
Does Ray look stable, or does she look like she's dying?
Ray does look like she's dying. Speaking of which, Ray, can you roll me a death saving throw?
No,
No!
I'm just gonna go pick her up. I'm gonna help her.
While you're doing that, as I'm approaching, I'm casting disguise self on myself and actually making myself look human, but still aged and robed.
Oh God. Do I have an advantage? Please tell me, Eddie.
You don't, but don't do that again. All right.
No.
So Brick, you rush over. Ray is leaking what appears to be this luminescent blue liquid out of her wounds. Manfred, you cast your spell and your features begin to shift and change. You look very much like basically like yourself, just as a human.
Yeah.
Yep. You approach.
And I'm sort of walking up and sort of getting sort of next to Ray, but sort of trying to address Lord Valiance. And it's like, oh, thank you for the rescue, kind knight. Can you and I just take this conversation off to the side while my friends sort of gather themselves. They don't want to look poorly or weak in front of someone so mighty.
He doesn't look in your direction. He kind of keeps looking through the mirror and he says, I would love to be able to speak with you. I always have time for my adoring public, but alas, my duties call me elsewhere. You see, I am awaiting word from an individual that I have sent to go and scout some of the perils within this land. When he returns, I must be ready to move at a moment's notice. For your safety, good sir. If you and your comrades could make your way down the road, there is a small town called Robinwood. Tell them that Lord Valiant sent you, and they will be the most accommodating of people. You can thank them and tell them that the Bulette that hounded their territory is no more.
Mr. Nightman?
Not your mouth.
He looks around. A small child. Here. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a very tiny doll. It's a tiny Lord Valiance with karate chop action.
Fucking of course it is.
as he gives it to you. Now, what do you want to be when you grow up, small child? He doesn't look at you again. He's sort of still. Imagine like a dude with a selfie stick. That is effectively what this. Like he's just trying to get the perfect angle at all times.
You just really want us to hate this guy so badly. We're there. You
can dial it back, Michael.
Can I make a medicine check on Ray, please?
Yeah. Please make me a medicine check.
Oh,
you have an advantage. You have an advantage to use.
I will use my last advantage. I ain't risking that. Ray's my girl. Nothing. No, that ain't happening. Come on.
Oh God.
That was
okay.
lucky. All right. With that, you managed to stabilize Ray. You're not entirely sure about the anatomy of the undead, but you quickly apply a tourniquet, stop the bleeding out, and stabilize Ray.
Kind of bucket the slime like back into her.
Yeah. You watch as she seems a little bit more translucent than normal, like almost like she's slowly disappearing.
Wait, she's disappearing?
No. As in that's how.
What did you do to her?
Ghost. She's a ghost. It's how ghosts die.
What have I done? Finn!
All right. So, yeah.
You got this, Brick.
Okay.
Look, as much as I appreciate a good karate chop action on an action figure, don't disrespect me by calling. Okay, now you're talking over me. You look. I want to get angry at you, sir, but I have a question for you. You said you were looking for some crazy messenger people. What did they look like? Because I might have seen them.
Oh, I don't know. I called him number 1.
Okay.
That's a
Well,
weird name.
that doesn't help me much, but I think I actually did see them. We were recently kind of closer to the coast. We saw 2 like messenger kind of people. They looked like they were heading over to another continent, like off world entirely. Maybe you should do that too.
Make a bluff check.
I will, good sir.
Off world.
Yep.
Just been like, hey, we spoke to him.
Just
He said
off
it's
world.
cool.
Yep.
Nah, they left the world.
It's like,
Yeah.
now I'm
That's
returning to
what
my
we
home
go
planet
for,
for
yeah.
no reason.
Performance or deception?
Deception, please. And Eddie, I'm gonna be using one of my advantages here.
I was about to use an advantage myself.
We can.
I thought you said disadvantage. Excellent. Well, I'm
my.
still doing that.
Oh no.
Deception.
Yes.
He goes, what? Oh, the cad. What? Oh, number 1. How
Classic
you
cad.
jest so. Classic,
Mm.
classic number 1 behavior. Well, it
Oh,
looks like
classic.
I'll just have to go to the dungeon myself then. Thank
Oh.
you, one.
Oh,
No.
no.
Well,
You're talking about
we'll get
a dungeon?
dusty.
Yes, some sort of backwater, low spit of the nowhere dungeon. The dungeon of Grimjack Bane or Milmjack Spain or I don't
Hey,
know.
Shut
something
your
like
mouth.
that.
It's salad. Oh, I mean, it's,
No.
I don't know. That's a pretty sky.
That
you
place
say
is,
at the dungeon of Spain? Yeah, I think it's in Spain, the dungeon you're looking for. Maybe you do actually have to go to the port and go somewhere else. I'm just trying to help you, you know.
Well, I always appreciate the help of my fans, but fear not, for I, Lord Valiant, shall do the proper surveying and ensure that there is safety for you. For now, however, late is the hour, and you are not safe here in the dark woods. I have just slain a band of orcs in the area. They do pose quite a danger to those who are unprepared for such a deadly skirmish.
I'm
At-
sorry.
you just-
what
at that,
did you
just to
say?
try and to distract him from the fact that Brick is an orc. I'm just gonna try to say, before we hurry on down to where was it? Raven's place.
Robinwood.
Robinwood. Might I trouble you for an autograph? And I'm like
Well, if-
opening up my spell book and like grabbing a quill and just like turning it around just to a blank page, a couple on from the last spell that I've recorded in. I'm basically getting his attention away from Brick while he's talking orc.
If his attention is towards Manfred, I'm standing behind him with a fist raised, just being like,
And I'm just giving you the eye of like,
I'm gonna try and hold Brick back, even though like I can barely do so. I'm like, Brick, stop.
You watch as he goes, yes, of course. Maybe one last autograph. He licks his quill, which notice that's actually, the laurel wreath I said was in his hair. You watch as he whips it out and it's actually a quill.
oh boy, of course it is.
And he begins to write his name. He looks up for the first time from his own reflection and looks at Manfred.
And
He tilts his head. He's sort of almost scrutinizing him for a moment, then shrugs his shoulders, keeps writing. He then whips it and places it back in his hair and goes, well, don't tarry, of course, as mentioned. I would hate to see that you guys be trapped here in the wilderness.
Well, why don't you come with us to the dungeon?
I could not possibly take innocent civilians to the dungeon. And besides, you would not be able to keep up with my incredible speed and handsome.
That wasn't even a proper sentence, but all right. Good, because I didn't really want to go with you. That was a good suggestion.
He steps over to the pond, and as he does, he says, by the moonlight goddess's reflection, gazing upon the great and powerful Narcinius, god of all glory and all heroism,
I push him in.
I bid you. Do you push him?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm
make it-
sorry.
Make an attack action.
As like stealthily as I can, but I it was that or spit on him. So I mean, An
All right.
attack action. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Advantage to Ray, disadvantage to DM from McNugget. Okay, so I've got, just so you guys know, I've got one disadvantage token now, so you guys can use that.
Am I making the attack roll with my spear?
No. Well, yeah, you can make it with your spears. I've got two disadvantages. I see. I'm looking at the thing. All right. So, you're making it with the spear, but you're not doing for damage. You're just doing for a kind of shove or a push. All right, here we go.
Oh, well, that just fell on nothing, didn't it? I've moved him. Right. Doing well. Here we go. It's not landing on him for whatever reason. So
sorry. I need to just roll in the box. Okay.
Pretty good.
All right, as you go to touch him, you push him, and as it does so, you watch as Brick's whole body becomes covered in these tiny little mirrors, almost like a disco ball. The whole body itself now is covered in these thin scales, and as he leans in to push Valiant, he almost passes like light through him, and you hear this splash in the water as Brick tumbles into the pond. He goes, well, it's a bit late for a swim. I highly recommend you dry off. Here, he takes off his cloak and he wraps it around Brick's shoulders. And he sort of, he doesn't look at Brick. He looks at the moon, which he lines up, and he watches a beam of light hits him in the face from his own sword. And his whole body turns into a pillar of light, and he...
Oh my God, I'm glad he left because I really wanted to stab him. Oh my God.
All right.
Am I still mirror-y?
You look at your hands and your body. You are less mirror-y. It's sort of like de-mirroring yourself.
Rick, you're shiny.
It's me. I'm me. I'm me on me. Everything but me.
And for a moment, what were you doing, you fool?
He said orcs, and then he did. He was a dick, all right. That's what he was.
I'm gonna try and help Brick get out of the water.
All right, you help Brick out of the water. He's still wrapped in Lord Valiant's cloak.
I
keep that.
Rub it on my butt.
You rub it on.
I throw it in the ground and stand on it.
You can keep that.
I don't want it.
Could have sold that, to be fair.
Screw that guy, Lord Valor Brance or whatever. Is Ray all right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, Ray is indeed unconscious, and you can actually see that she's stable, but could definitely use a bit of TLC.
How do we help? How?
What if
it's
we
hard
take
to think of things when Ray's not here to tell us how to do them.
I know what. Yeah. What if we go back to the town and ask for medical support? Do we have healthcare here? I don't.
You do not know whether or not there's a doctor in town, but you do know nearby the town sheriff / mayor, a man by the name of Eric Robbins, is also looking for the children. Ray, as you are slipping out of consciousness, you find yourself in a home that seems familiar, but at the same time, almost like a dream or a distant memory. Now, could you describe your home prior to your character becoming a hollow?
Ooh, incredibly simple and very minimalistic. So probably everything I imagine would be in one room, and believe it or not, everything is very like doily and frilly. So any kind of space that she can make look beautiful has flowers or little doily parts, but the actual home itself looks like it's been made DIY. There's not a lot of money put into it.
You wake up from your bed with a start, almost as if you've like you know that feeling when you fall, but you catch yourself before you actually trip over. That sinking feeling that just starts you awake. This is how you awaken to this scene as you recognize the world around you. You look and you can see a figure sitting at a table. It is a silhouette of what appears to be a kind of a dark figure. It's staticky almost, like the air itself seems to constantly twitch and shiver and shimmer. So you can't quite get any details apart from the figure's silhouette themselves. They look at you and begin to speak, but it's a language you don't quite understand.
Speak up.
They turn to you and they look at you with very, very deep and loving eyes. You get a glimpse of them for the moment. What color are they?
Green.
These beautiful green emerald-like eyes look at you as the image shakes and shifts. As he sort of gets up from the table and moves over to you, everywhere that his body touches seems to turn into this ink-like tar, this sludge. You watch as he puts down what he's reading onto the table, the actual paper itself melting, the table itself then burning like acid.
Does she recognize the eyes?
The eyes do look strikingly familiar, incredibly familiar.
And they're loving, yes?
They definitely do have a very soft and loving gaze.
I imagine that instantly, as the person with the loving eyes walks towards her, surrounded in her own home, she might forget for a second what happened and leap up to try and hug the globbing creature.
As you do so, you place your arms around this figure. The sort of dripping tar sort of falling over you. You barely even notice it. Despite this kind of what you would imagine would be kind of an icky, sticky kind of feeling, you actually feel the warmth deep, deep inside. There's just this calm that seems to come over you. You look up to try and get a better look at this person's face, and the featureless thing with only the eyes you can see suddenly splits in half, and a mouth filled with rows of human teeth, but way too many human teeth, suddenly opens up, ready to engulf you. You awaken in the town of Robinwood, along with everyone else surrounding you in a bed. You are in the sheriff's house, back in town. Brick is standing by your side, as is Stickyfingers and Manfred. The room itself is quite a humble little room with a couple of little small like cloth mattresses laid out on the floor. You don't recognize anything. You can see on the table there's a couple of family portraits. There's a few wooden sculptures of robins placed around the place, and you can see out the window to the town's main street itself. This is where you awaken.
In hindsight, does she remember who the eyes belong to, or is it like a distant?
You don't
memory?
Recall. It is a faded memory. We have no recollection.
She just starts to get really angry and she's gonna sit down for a minute and try and listen to see if she can see anyone outside. She's not gonna move. I'm just gonna lay there, breathing heavily, almost incredibly dark, unhappy with what just happened. Yeah, she's just gonna lay there, I guess.
Okay. The three of you see that she stirs from her slumber and awakens.
Well, I've just been making funny faces to try and wake her up. So,
so the first thing Ray sees would be, of course, the face of Brick pulling funny faces.
I think once she's calmed and she opens her eyes again and sees Brick, the first thing she's gonna do is leap up and try and continue that hug. So she's just gonna launch at him in non-ethereal form and just give him a huge hug, and then probably about halfway through that, go back into ghost form and just sink back into the bed. Like, that was weird.
Yeah, it was.
So just huge embrace, and then okay, I'm just gonna go back to ghost form now.
You're all right.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was weird.
It was all right.
What happened?
You almost died.
Then that fancy pants man came. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
So then who came, sorry?
Fancy Pants Man. What's his face? Fairly.
Brands.
Yeah, him.
Oh, did you kill him?
Well,
I tried, and then I turned into everything but me.
yeah, it's some weird mirror thing. I don't really know what it was. It was pretty.
You turned into a mirror.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a strange spell. Manny, he turns people into mirrors?
It was sort of sparkled like
Ew.
like gemstones or something to like it was just like a mirrored surface, like looking at a field of like diamonds and so forth.
That sounds horrid. What kind of torture is that to make someone a mirror?
Well, that aside, are you all right?
Oh,
How do you feel?
It's like I feel fine. It's okay.
Is the sheriff still in is anyone else in the room, or is it just four?
Just you four for the time being.
Okay.
You know the sheriff is preparing like some cold compress to help Ray.
I'm assuming I feel horrible, right?
Oh yeah. You're all still super damaged. We haven't gone to the rest cycle just yet.
Yep. Yeah, no, perfectly fine.
You had a weird look in your eyes. You woke up. Are you cursed or something? Do I need to hit you?
Like a little bit of insanity washed over me, but I'm okay now. Quick question I mean, I've died before, but it wasn't Stickyfingers. Did you have like a weird dream when you died?
Well, I saw this weird big frog man. He was all like, he also was sticky like me. And he offered me women and money, which was nice. But I chose friendship because I tried to steal a jewel. Did you try to steal a jewel? Is that how you came back? Because that's how I came back. I stole.
Yeah, that seems fitting for you. No, I don't think I died. It didn't feel like dying. It was just I think it was just a weird dream, maybe.
You didn't see
maybe the medicine.
Frog. Yeah, maybe.
No, definitely no big frog. Didn't see anything.
Well, we're glad you're alive because we quickly realized we can't make logical decisions without you, which is really unfortunate.
Hey, I'm very logical.
Yeah. So good to have you back. I'd tap you on the cheek or like pat you or something, but I might paralyze you, and that's a bad thing. So, frog skin.
How's Sarah?
Who?
What a great question.
That is great. Yes.
The kid.
They are perfectly fine. We
that's good.
Sure
Thank goodness.
We took them to their homes, and they're all safe.
We are certainly not retconning something.
Okay, well, look, that's clearly that was a bit of a hypocritical moment, and I think we'll have a discussion on the hero thing once we're feeling a little more
ourselves.
There's a knock.
Sure, whatever that might mean.
Sure. Who do you want? Shut your mouth.
All right. So, zooming right into the house, you guys can see Eric Robbins as he enters the room. He sort of sees you all and sees Ray and says, "Oh, good. You're awake. I was concerned for your health. Look, thank you so much. The others told me what you did. That was no small sacrifice."
Yes. Hero things.
Yeah.
Well, of course, as I said, I'm more than happy to have you stay the night. And after saving my son from that terrible creature, feel free to stay as long as you desire. I've prepared a small supper for you if you feel up to it.
A small supper for heroes of our caliber.
Well, I'm.
Maybe we'll think twice before we save some kids next time. If all we're getting is a small supper.
He seems a little disappointed that that his meal is not up to standard.
Oh, shut your mouth. We'll eat your food.
he sort of looks up and he says, All right. Well, it'll be in the dining hall as he moves away. He's kind of not sure what happened. He's just a little more melancholy than he was when he walked in. Do you guys join for dinner?
Hells yeah.
Certainly do.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a short rest real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting battle, but I'm giving it.
Not expecting.
But if someone keeps offending the host, we might just be there.
I'm just
Frick.
like, yeah. It's
I'm not offending the host. I'm offending
Use
the
my
sheriff.
last hit dice.
All right.
I have none.
You gather around a reasonably small wooden table. There is a small spread laid out. It is, of course, as mentioned, quite simple. There is some spring vegetables around what appears to be a roast pheasant. There is also some small little like cabbage like broth that's been made as well. It smells all right. Smells like very, very homey food. Very, very sort of robust, down to earth food. Boyle has already eaten and gone to bed, says Eric. But please take your time.
How is the young chap?
Oh, he's perfectly fine. He can't stop talking about the heroism of the 4 heroes that saved him. How he flew through the sky like an angel when one of you leapt from the treetops. And the creature being, of course, a million miles tall. It made for a very entertaining story.
Yep, it was a million miles. Can confirm.
He says, I have to say, I'm really grateful that you guys came through town. Boyle is very important to me, especially after my wife's passing. I don't know what I would have done if it was him that he looks at Ray and he says, all right, well, please, sorry, let me not interrupt you. He moves away from the dining area and goes inside, further into like sort of like a sitting area or in the kitchen just to kind of clean up. You guys are now alone in this seating area. You can see obviously outside the window the main street of Robinwood. Behind you is a number of small, as mentioned, wooden bird sculptures, and set into one side of the wall is a large portrait of what appears to be this really beautiful red-haired woman. She seems to be posing for a photo, but at the same time she's got kind of this bashful look about her.
How old is this painting? Does this painting look like it's of an older time, or does this look like someone?
It looks about maybe 5 to 10 years old.
Right.
Okay.
Do you think that's his dead wife?
I would say
I'm
so.
just saying what we're all thinking.
I was thinking it too. Yeah, to be fair.
You could just say it a little bit quieter. He's just in the next room.
Is that his dead wife?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also there's robins, like little sculptures all the way around here, and his family name is Robin. This town is called Robin.
More proof that this is a big charade. They're not that creative. They can't even come up with other names for their stage names, clearly.
Maybe
I'm
it's
just-
a trap.
I'm just thinking that this might be one of the original families.
Well,
Of the
yeah,
area.
that's what I thought too.
Maybe. I mean,
I don't know. Stickyfingers has a point. I think. I just.
You think they're masquerading as
It's
some sort of like
I'm
old
just-
settlement?
Maybe, but it is a bit. What if that was one of the kids that got eaten instead of me? Would you
Well,
guys be
what?
okay with that? I'm just wondering.
Why thought we weren't trusting these kids? You know, why did we save these kids? I thought we weren't trusting anyone.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I mean, maybe he's just very good at manipulation. But I mean, it is. What if it was? What if it was Sarah that had got eaten?
Oh, Sarah's tough.
Yeah, I mean, she's a trained assassin. You did that, you know.
You could see the
Yeah.
damage you should do inside that thing just with a fork.
Yeah, I mean, she was the only one of us who managed to hit it.
Yeah.
Sticky Fingers. Well, okay. You know what, Brick? Let's make it Brick. Brick, as Sticky Fingers laughs, you're sort of enjoying the meal as you're going through, big fistfuls of vegetables and the like.
It's only a small meal, Michael. So small fistfuls.
Small fistfuls, tiny fistfuls. Like like your version of chopsticks are 2 kielbasa sausage-like fingers chopping into things and sticking in your mouth. Okay, so I need you to make me a perception check.
I love perception. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. Boy, oh boy. So wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Like in my head, I was like, it won't. It was.
Well,
Don't taunt the dice gods.
I put it in my
This game.
All right. Well, do I have any advantages, Eddie? I've got one advantage. All right, Brick, I'm gonna give you an advantage.
Yeah.
I love being the lovable dumb idiot.
Oh my god! I want my advantage back. Okay. All right.
What do you see? Because I'm blind.
All right. Well, you know what? As you're eating, you don't really notice anything in particular out of the ordinary. Sticky Fingers, make me a perception check.
It's gonna be like a 20. I don't think I'm very good at this Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know how to do it very well, do I?
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
We suck at this.
Manfred,
This food is great. Oh my god, guys.
Manfred, what do you see?
Dare I join this circus?
he's left his glasses on the table upstairs.
Let's see. Have I?
Yeah.
Not god awful.
That's okay. All right.
Of course, you had a
Manfred.
negative modifier.
Manfred, Manfred, you notice that the portrait has changed ever so slightly.
Whoa.
The portrait is now looking at Brick quite deliberately. You then notice that the painting looks in your direction, notices that you're looking at it, and then goes back to being normal.
I'm going straight up and investigating the hell out of that.
All right, everyone watches as Manfred stands up and walks over to the portrait.
I'm going to go with
watch?
Arcana, actually.
Yeah.
I'm checking this over for a magicness.
All right, you
Yes? No?
cast Arcana.
Yeah, well, that's not Arcana. But...
Well, I mean, it's like, yeah.
yeah. Oh, balls.
Wow.
Wow.
I joined the useless crew. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the crew, man.
Manfred stops for a moment and goes, "It appears to be some kind of painting." No, you don't. You can't really.
I sort of look over as like, I swear that thing was looking at you, Brick, and then it was looking at me, but now it just seems to be a painting.
Maybe the painting likes you, Brick. Maybe it's trying to hit on you.
I'd look, but I've got noodles in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that.
Thank God we saved Ray. Hey. Can I? All right, Ray. Manny said something. Can I just like look at the mirror? I'll have a staring contest with it.
The mirror. Okay,
Yeah.
you go over to a mirror, which is not the portrait, and you start looking at yourself.
Oh, you know what I meant, but I said it wrong. Yeah, fuck it, I'm committing it to mirror now. That's what I meant. I meant what I said.
Ray,
Fix it,
Yep.
fix it.
this is what you this is what you see. Please help them.
What did you want me to roll?
It's up to you. What would you like to do? Would you like to investigate what Brick is doing? What Manfred is doing, or perhaps join Sticky Fingers in just in enjoying the rather comfort food that's lying in front of you?
Well, I cannot eat, so I will join. I have no idea what Brick is doing, so I will join Manfred in investigating this painting.
In chat, if anyone knows what Brick is doing, let me know.
So investigation.
Investigation, yes.
Yeah, I'm still going like, I swear I saw those eyes move.
You're welcome, guys.
Yay!
I'm waiting for that.
All right, with a natural 20, As you approach, there is definitely no magical sense here, but you do recognize another type of sense. There is an undead presence in this house.
Fun.
Ray's still dead, and this is just
coming from the portrait.
It seems to have left the portrait. You can tell it recently because you've used this technique before. It's basically the ability to use objects as a manipulation. So basically, she's been moving the paints around, and you can kind of tell that there's this ecto-psionic sense, this esoteric energy emanating from it, almost as if it feels as though you've passed through it in the past before.
Cool. She'll just kind of hold her hand up to the painting and just start laughing. Just, oh, very clever. I learned this very early on. That's a lot of fun. Hello there. And she starts to look around the room.
Guys, I think Ray's gone insane after she died.
Yep.
She's talking to a painting.
She's talking to the painting. She tried to hug Brick.
Where are you?
Hey, people can hug Brick, all right?
For very short periods.
I mean, no, I don't want hugs.
There does not seem to be a response. The house creaks. The only thing you can hear is the sound of dishes being done in the next room by Eric Robbins. And the sound of maybe Boyle out of bed in his room. Like, you hear, like, kind of child footsteps.
Past his bedtime, Boyle. Come on.
It is past his bedtime. He's a naughty boy.
Shut your mouth, boy.
Well, for those that are wondering, here, can I try and jump into the painting?
Oh yeah, you can do so with absolute ease.
I'll kind of jump into the painting and then make it go like, just like really.
You watch as
Ray.
You watch as
Ray.
rips the painting in half. All right. You watch as the painting suddenly shifts a little, and it takes on a more spectral hue. The face begins to contort and changes to Ray, pulling faces.
And then I'll just float back out and go, it's a very simple ghost trick. We use it all the time. Heroes get terrified by it. You wouldn't believe how far they run.
Well,
I mean, usually we make it look a lot more scary, but
Can everyone do it?
no, not everybody.
who was the redhead girl?
But no, I just think we just had a undead visitor. I think they're probably just watching us right now.
As Stickyfingers asks who that person is, there's a voice that comes from behind you. That's me mum.
Oh my God, who's that?
A tiny little portly child is standing behind you. It is Boyle, the son of Eric Robbins.
Boyle, it's past your bedtime. Why are you up?
I was thirsty.
Well, that's fair enough. All right.
I wanted a glass of water.
What's up with the painting, by the way? So that's your mom? Where is she dead?
While Finn's asking these questions, I'm going to go grab like the pitcher of water and pour off a glass for him.
The real MVP.
He the real MVP. He sits there and he sort of takes the water. He sort of sips it. As he begins to tell you that a long time ago, his mother was very, very, very sick, and Dad said that that it was because her family was very, very sick, and when she was pregnant with him, they were really, really worried that he would be sick too, that Boyle would be sick. But Boyle was so full of love and happiness that she ended up surviving and lived for 7 happy years alongside Boyle and her husband before eventually the sickness was too much. Dad says that the painting is where she lives, and if I was sad or if I was worried, I could talk to the painting, and Mum would hear me. But Mum couldn't speak back. She could only hear what I'd have to say. But just between you and me, every once in a while, I think I hear Mum talking back to me.
That's because she's a ghost, probably.
That's creepy as shit.
She's like, silly lady, ghosts aren't real. He sculls the rest of the water and gives it to Manfred and says, thank you. And sort of waves at you guys.
Not hugely open-minded, but good night.
If ghosts aren't real, Ray, what are you?
Well, I'm not technically a ghost because, but I've met them.
Dumb kid. Idiot.
After a few laughs and finishing off your meals, you clear your places, or Eric clears your places, and you retire for the night. You guys will get a chance to long rest.
Oh my god! I didn't think it was possible.
It's
Been a day.
It's been a long day. Well, you got to rest after you left the Salak Frame dungeon. You got one rest.
That was 6 episodes ago.
I think we've done 3 or 4 straight episodes without sleeping.
It's been so good.
It has been. All right.
Spell slots, delicious spell slots.
So there you go. All right. Now, in the middle of the night, as you all rest, even of course, Ray, you do need to rest as well. It's kind of about sort of consolidating your will. It's almost very much like an elf. You require a certain level of meditation or calm to regain all your stuff. Let me roll this randomly. Actually, I'm gonna. Okay.
He's not even rolling in the game.
I'm not.
This is serious.
Stickyfingers, make me a perception check.
Suck it.
All right, I will.
Nerd.
I will. I'm using my advantage.
That's so fucking useless.
Oh my god!
All right. So apart from
double
getting
ones all over again.
so apart from getting the shut your mouth emote, Eddie, can we get a sticky finger face palm emote? He rolling 2 2s simultaneously with the advantage thing. I guess you will drop the 2.
It's 22.
And and you've got a total of 3. Gee. All right. Sticky fingers, you awaken, and as you do so, you see this in front of you. I'm going to put it in the garden just because it's
Ooh, it's a blue chick.
She is floating inches above you. As she looks at you, you watch as she goes, shh. And she seems to reach for your face. What do you do?
Is this some sort of weird sexual fantasy that I'm having?
The air is deathly cold. You feel a chill running through your body.
I think I'm just gonna be a bit petrified because some crazy weird lady's about to touch my face, and hope that I poison her, even though she's probably a ghost.
All right. Everyone else can make a perception check as
Don't bother.
as you kind of hear this.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean,
Nope.
come on.
Wow.
Nope.
Manfred.
How do you
Manfred's,
get a -1?
Manfred's now blind.
Manfred.
Good job, Brick.
Okay. Well, Brick.
Oh, I rolled well. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Brick.
What?
You can see this ghostly woman about to place her hand on the face of Stickyfingers.
Do I know it's not Ray?
You know it's absolutely not Ray. This thing seems to have all these tattered clothes wafting in the air, almost like she's suspended in water as she hovers down horizontally across Stickyfingers.
She looks ominous.
There's a definite cold chill in the air. You can see the fog in your breath. Your
I'll
hair
just-
on the back of your head stands up.
I'll just yell out, "Oi!"
She turns towards you without moving her torso, just her head and her neck sort of snap to look in your direction. As she does so, you watch as her body just sort of folds in on itself and disappears. You hear the sound suddenly above you of footsteps running through the loft.
Manfred, I'm a wizard.
You're a what?
I made someone disappear. They're now in the roof. Let's go. I'm running. If someone's running towards me, I'm running. I'm up. Let's go. I'm a wizard. Let's try
Good
this.
joke, Ryan. I liked it.
Okay. All right, Manfred. Yeah, you have been awoken to Brick announcing to you, very convinced that he.
I'm a wizard.
I'm a wizard. I'm a wizard, Manfred.
You're dreaming, you idiot. All right. Does anyone else wake up when Brick
I'm
decides
just like,
to run off?
what
Yeah.
time is it?
Time, wizard time. Let's go.
Yeah, maybe we should go after her because she was about to touch my face and.
Okay, let's I have no
What?
idea what's going on, but let's follow Brick.
Crazy ghost lady tried to seduce me in my sleep, and Brick ruined it.
Seems
Kill him.
unlikely. Seems real unlikely, but okay.
What? That's, hey, I've had at least. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
I'm sort of
they hit
slowly
on-
getting out of
they
the
hit on
bed, like
Stickyfingers.
creak, sit up on the edge. It's like,
All right. You begin to follow the noise as you chase the footsteps up through the house and into what is apparently a loft. You can see a ladder just rising up above you. If you grab onto like this tiny string, you can pull it down. As it does so, it leads into an attic, a small little area where it's filled with boxes and keepsakes over generations of the Robbins family. You can see a whole bunch of different very bizarre things, trophies, portraits with cloths hanging over it, even what appears to be a giant robin that is about the size of Brick.
Dang.
You probably imagine that the reason why they took it down was because it was a very gaudy sculpture, as it quite literally is. At the end of the hall here, at the end of the sort of walkway, next to a window illuminated by the moonlight, appears to be a wedding dress.
Hey, Brick, put it on. That'll be funny. It's probably hers. Don't do that.
yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't thinking about it.
As you,
Hello.
as Ray says
Calling
this, as Ray says this, the clothes begin to levitate and float into the air, and you see this woman, a lot more substantial than she was before. She looks to you and smiles. She says, "Hello. Thank you so much for saving Boyle."
All in a day's work.
Yeah, no worries.
My name is Amber Robbins. I'm Eric's late wife. It's so nice to see him so happy. She floats over to you, like keeping off the ground. He has been cooped up in this home for so long. He doesn't have many visitors, and I worry for him so.
Do you want us to do something like kill him or help him or
There is
you want to touch
something.
my face again?
She smiles at you. She looks as though she's like, she doesn't touch your face, but she kind of gestures at it, and she says, "There is something you might do, if, of course, you may do me a favor. I couldn't help but notice that one of you is like me. Not exactly like me, but similar."
Well, I too am beautiful, much like you. I could clearly understand why you look fancy to me. It makes sense.
She says,
Oh, you meant Ray. Oh.
Well, no, she actually looks at you and she says, "Of course you are, you beautiful creature."
I'm in Brick.
She says, "You see, I have been dead for some time now. 7 years, in fact, as of next week. My husband and my son have grown so much, and I've been truly blessed being able to watch them as I have. But while Boyle has become a young adult, I'm afraid Eric still traps himself in our love and the past that has now long since gone. Do you know of the woodsman, Patricia?"
She is not in my notes, so no.
She is the owner of the mill. We were all childhood friends a long time ago. In fact, it was Patricia who first introduced me to my husband. Even then, I knew Patricia had unrequited feelings for him. As time went on, I feel as though these feelings within my husband have grown as well, and I fear that my memory is what holds him from truly moving on. While it pains me to say so, I don't want to be responsible for him dying alone and being kept here in this echo of a home. She floats down to the ground. Please, if you could, help my husband overcome his melancholy, at least enough to confess his true feelings towards our dear friend. They have been both corrupted by the sickness that lies within the family feud. The Robinses and the Woods have not gotten along since the foundation of the town. Their parents speak toxically of each other, and I think it keeps them at quite a distance now that they too have been expected to follow in suit.
Knew there was a dirty secret.
They don't get along and they named the city after both of their families? Sure. Wow, that's actually surprisingly humble of them. I would have thought they would have been like, no, it's just a Robin town. No, it's just a Wood town, but it's the Rob. Anyway.
It wasn't always this way. The Robinses and the Woodses were both very, very influential people. There came a time where, in fact, both families were influential in the foundation and the construction of everything in town. But as generations grew, there was arguments of authority. Who was truly in charge? The Robinses often placed the mayors based upon family ties, whereas the Woods felt as though this was unfair, that due process should be that it goes to those capable of leading and not simply those who are popular. It's a long and very, very arduous journey of sabotage and deceit. But Eric, he's a gentle soul, and he has never acted against Patricia. While Patricia is a rather strong-willed woman, her stubbornness will not allow her to ever make the first move in this case. I fear that they need some assistance, and you all seem so important to the town, especially now. I thought that perhaps you might be able to help arrange things for them to be able to at least talk to each other.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, anything to sure. Yeah, why not? We can be heroes.
Why are we saying sure?
Not gonna do it. Never mind. Brick said no. What?
I didn't say.
Ray, I need help. I can't make a logical decision here.
Excuse me, other ghost woman. Do you mind if I talk to my fellow heroes for 2 seconds?
Oh, of course, not at all. But before you make your decision, I of course don't expect you to do this for charity. I understand the ways of the world, and in my life, I was an alchemist, capable of brewing medicines and the like. In fact, the sad truth is that there hasn't been a doctor in town for quite some time. There is a remedy, a curative, as I had been working on. Much of my notes and researches are here, hidden in these boxes. But there was one reagent that I knew could solve a number of different ailments, an anathema, as it were. If you were to head to the river, there is a small location among my notes that will allow you to find a small water recess that allows you to be able to conduct a number of incredible reagents and potions, from healing potions to even love potions.
Well, I do like a good reward, but we will talk as a group and make a decision.
She nods and floats back over to the stand where the wedding dress is. All right, you may confer.
Ray, what's happening? Why am I being nice? I thought I was like some big scary monster man from a dungeon. Ever since we helped those kids, I've really enjoyed being a hero. I'm having a crisis of identity. What I mean, rewards sound nice. That's not hero-like.
Well, I mean, I'm just confused by the fact that the ghost seems friendly. That's really thrown me. The only ghosts I've ever met are very, I will destroy everybody and everything. Is she like a love ghost or something? That's so weird. What a
She did try to seduce
What
me.
is-
She might be a love ghost.
It's just
I-
some sort of spirit bound by love to this plane. That's
that sounds.
truly unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, like, couldn't she just be the ghost doctor? I don't understand. What's she giving up a medical career to waft around in a loft for? It seems. I'm so happy that vengeance binds me. Imagine being bound by love. What a horror show. Anywho, alchemy stuff. I mean, we could do it for the reward. I mean, regarding your feelings, Finn, I feel the same. I'm very confused. There's probably some kind of weird spell this town has, but I can't make decisions. It's not.
I've got to say, like, it's even just if you want to look at it in a reward setup, like we have rescued children and been given treatment and board and food. Everything we've done has had a positive outcome because we've helped.
I mean, I don't really eat, but I've got to say it at least looks a little better than whatever Selec Frame was serving up for food. Do you remember? It was like, I swear it was just his toe jam or something. It was really nasty.
Yeah.
Thank gosh I don't have to eat.
Actually, to talk about the food at the Dungeon of Selec Frame, the Dungeon of Selec Frame's catering services offer a wide variety of foods, but only if the CR or the challenge of your particular ranking is high enough. So you guys, as a low-ranked monster, received basic nourishment, as it were, which is, of course, what Ray is describing. That being said, you have, of course, seen the lower-level bosses enjoy quite large and very, very copious amounts of incredibly delicious food.
Well, dang.
Don't forget the Frame brand basic nourishment. It's
It was pretty basic. It was in the name. I don't know why we thought it would be good. I mean, you're right.
Well,
tastes like cardboard with vitamins.
I've got a bit of a thought here, believe it or not. If we don't get that messenger and Mr. Valor Mirror Man,
Him.
isn't Salak gonna be like real mad at us? And we sort of keep going around doing everything but that. Or
I mean,
we keep doing this stuff.
oh, forever. Gosh, no, for sure not. Like, and the.
Well,
I mean-
I'll say it pretty flatly. I don't have forever.
You're gonna die?
I'm living forever.
What?
But I'm enjoying the sunshine. It seems to be good for my complexion. And
You are looking a little more tanned. I wasn't gonna say anything, but it's quite nice.
my quills actually don't seem to sort of bend in the middle anymore. They seem to have toughened up.
I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
ever since we left that dungeon, things have got better. You know, maybe. Do we need to change our lifestyles?
Two of you died.
Well, yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
on the plus side, who got really sick? It's something I've just never really thought about before. You know me, I'm very toe the corporate line, stop throwing bouncy balls, Brick, stop dunking Finn into pits and concentrate on your job, all of that
In
sort of
my
stuff.
defense, it was funny.
It was pretty
It was-
funny.
It
wasn't funny. No,
I
it was a terrible
Definitely toed the corporate line, but I mean, did anyone notice we didn't really move up in CR? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been there for a very long time, and it kind
Almost
of
as long as
seems like,
me.
okay, yeah, we got to be a boss level. And Manfred, how?
Taking this point, as Ray is bringing this up, Manfred, now, I don't know if you recall, but from episode 1, there was a very strange thing that happened to you involving a tattoo that appeared on your person.
Yes. I hadn't forgotten about that, Michael, honestly. And we're familiar with the whole CR thing being an actual in-world term for monsters.
That is correct. Okay, so let me break this down as a bit of lore for you all back at home. The world of Olestria actually does have a almost kind of an understanding of CRs and levels of different things. Basically, monsters in this world were not created natively. They were all formed from pools of blood or organ kind of juice that has come from a creature known as the Tarask. All monsters find their origins from this. On their persons are markings, like kind of written tattoos or words that depict the strength and the intensity of these of the blood within them. Ghosts have it, orcs have it, everyone has it, and it is a mark known simply as your CR, or challenge rank, or creature rank, or whatever you want to call it. As this goes up, the mark becomes more prominent and you become more renowned. Basically, it is almost like a symbol of authority that anyone can have based on strength in the monster kingdoms. Humans have a similar thing, as well as the allied races, those who were created by the gods. And this is, of course, the crest of the champion. The crest of the champion is a godlike divine tattoo that symbolizes your class and your abilities. It for the most part is kind of on the body somewhere, depending on where the god feels like it. Some people have the mark atop their head in a bold tattoo. Some people have it on their chest. Other people have it on their arms. Manfred, in I think episode 2 maybe, discovered that he had a tattoo he didn't realize adjacent to his creature or his CR. So that's what we're talking about right now.
I remember right, it was sort of on my back.
It was on your back. Yes.
So and I'm like, this is okay. Bear with me. And I was just sort of like loosen the top of my robe and like drop them down so you can see the top of my like, no. Look at my marking, my creature mark. It's different.
Yeah,
I had one of those once. It disappeared when I died. Manfred, that's gross. I mean, how are you both? Because your CR is still there. I can see it. You're still a monster.
It's also like
different.
Brick.
What about the rest of us? Everybody, quickly, get naked. Look for a mark.
Well, if you insist.
All right. As we fade to black and everyone examines their own particular tattoo mark, I would like to actually ask, just for posterity's sake, where is everyone's challenge tattoo, or where's your challenge marking? Sticky fingers?
My butt.
All right. On one of the butt cheeks. Yep. Brick.
Well, you're gonna have to go to someone else. Obviously, I was gonna say my butt, but no.
Yeah, you can have it on my butt. Or you can have like a.
You can have
they have matching tattoos.
No, right. It probably would have been in view.
Well, to be honest,
I'm not a very perceptive person. Maybe my bicep.
Yeah, well, to be honest, a lot of the orcs and stuff like that, especially from the coastal side, do have like kind of the tribal tattoos that interweave with the CR and stuff. So, yeah, they're probably interwoven there.
It's underneath my big shoulder pad.
Yeah. Ray?
I imagine hers is on her arm and is covered at all times. It would be very unsettling to her to be able to see it.
Yeah, yours seems to have burnt over, as you've suggested, over what was once your adventure level, and now just resides this tainted little mark that symbolizes obviously how strong you guys are. All of you notice that you are now stronger, but there is now a strange word that is arcanely written on each of your persons. You can't quite read it. Those of you with detect magic can make an arcana check to try and read it.
Good thing I'm a wizard.
I sure as hell will.
I will also cast magic.
I'm not going to do it really well, though.
Should I make a detect magic roll as well, Mike?
Yeah, if you want to. No, it's an arcana check. So if you've got arcana, you can. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's
all
an
right.
arcana check. Yeah.
-1.
Oh, God damn it.
Isn't that bad? I'm better than the wizard.
Well, actually, Brick, you recognize yours because you've thumped enough people who have had this mark. You know it is a mark of like the barbarian tribes or the thugs and the kind of like the rough kind of people. Looking over at Manfred, you definitely know them as the sparkly, breaky stick people. And you're looking over at Stickyfingers. His one seems to be of the hidey stabby, oh my god, where did that come from people. And Ray seems to be about the talky blinding light, not dying proper, those kind of people.
Right. So I'm strong hitman. Manfred, you're stick person. You're a stick person. Finn, show me your butt.
Okay.
Yours is knife, stab. Knife, yep, that's what it says.
You talking about my butt or my marking? Which one?
I'll let you think. Ray, and yours is... Wait, is Ray covering hers up?
I'd be looking at it now, yeah, holding this horrified. It'd be about there.
Yours says can't die, talk, woman. Yep.
Can't die, talk, woman. Clearly that's a spelling error.
I'm just translating.
Given I'm dead.
You know.
Okay. Can't die again?
I didn't make the rules. I didn't make it up. You know, it's just what it says.
Given Brick's literacy, Ray, those words definitely translate to you now, Chinese whisper style, to barbarian, wizard, rogue, and cleric.
Yes, no, funny, when you die, it's kind of like you become a different person and you can sort of remember things from before, but not really. I think you mean wizard, cleric, rogue, barbarian.
No.
Barbarian, that would be you, Brick. Rogue, oh dear, that makes a lot of sense. I've never met a rogue, Stickyfingers, who doesn't like to steal things. That's just what they do. Even if they call it helping, yes, no, rogue makes a lot of sense. Stabbing, stealing, yes, no, I can see that. And Manfred, wizard.
It was racist, yeah.
Wizard. Yeah. Wizard for you. You know what a wizard is, Manfred?
Oh, yes.
That's you. And me, cleric. Makes sense given some things, but
wait,
interesting.
Aren't they people things? Not
They're
monster
definitely
things.
people things.
It is completely unheard of and unprecedented to have a creature that has both a CR and class levels in this world. Stickyfingers, you notice that that sort of floating and sort of looking at your butt, not kind of lewdly, but more like, you like when you look at a baby's butt and it's like, oh, it's so cute, is the ghost woman who's still there while you guys are doing all this.
Did she watch us undress?
She can't go anywhere, guys. I mean, she is literally
she could look away.
Guys, she's checking me out.
Yeah, she is looking at your butt. More like, oh, it's so cute. It reminds me of Boyle's butt when he was a baby.
Oh,
Stickyfingers, I think she thinks you're a baby. You need to just...
Well,
you do look a bit like a child.
He's a little cutie, that's what he is.
Oh,
little cutie.
no.
But with
Stop it! I'm a grown man.
Wrong.
I'm like got my hands on my shoulder, I got my fingers crossed like a kid, and I'm like, no, I'm a grown man.
this whole thing might just explain our whole crises of faith.
So you're telling me that because
I think we're
got
actually
a tattoo
heroes.
at my birth.
How, to quote Brick, shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth, Manfred.
Yeah. Sorry, I just get excited. when people say
Okay.
that.
There is no way we are heroes.
Shut your mouth.
So I'm like, so the reason that I'm starting to care for kids and not want to steal and murder people is because I have a tattoo on my butt. So I'm like sick. So I've got like a disease.
Gross.
Yeah, maybe
You
we've
got
got the
two.
hero disease. That makes a lot of sense.
Ew. Should we?
Well,
isolate-
Maybe we
should
do need
self-
these potions.
Should we self-isolate? Maybe we can.
Yeah,
give
we
it
should
other
get at
people.
least 1.5 meters away from each other.
Yeah, 1.5
Maybe.
meters, like quarantine. This is, you
Yeah.
know, I don't think we should we should stop doing what, don't go to work.
All right, so
Stay
so
inside.
after
Real.
what Ray said, you guys actually take a moment to think about it. if what she is saying is true, then an anathema would, of course, cure you of the sickness of being heroes.
I've had a thought.
Good. What is it?
Why don't you say it, Finn?
You know what? I will. I think first, Brick should give me $20. But second, you were thinking it too. Second, we should do the thing that the lady wants us to do, not only because she's looking at my butt, but because if we get that weird water thing, whatever it was called, that might be able to cure us of our butt disease.
I've only got 5.
I'll take it.
There you go. I'll give you 5 gold.
Typical rogue. Quick, we need to cure ourselves quickly.
No, I think I'm getting my stealing back. I think you know what?
Stop.
We should do it anyway, though. I don't want Brick to get hurt, with his barbarianism.
All right.
Yeah.
After a strong deliberation, you approach her once again.
So Manfred wanted to tell you what the decision that we've reached. Manfred?
The ghost floats over. Yes, please.
We'll take the job.
Oh, that's so wonderful to hear. Thank you so much. Now, the anathema I mentioned is of course a very complex thing. You will need the assistance of someone to help you brew it, but the one ingredient that you will need comes from the nearby river. Head over there and you will find that the road will lead you to a break. Once upon a time there was a bridge there, but it has long since passed. But a small crop of rocks that are there. There is a natural bowl that creates above the waterline. You require water from this bowl.
Okay.
There you go.
Sounds good. We'll do that. Water bowl. Yeah. I wrote down as much as I could.
Excellent.
Did you write down anathema?
I couldn't spell it, but I did.
Anathema.
Very well.
Anatema.
I wrote asthma.
Asthma.
You watch as she smiles and then fades, disappearing. Her wedding dress goes back to the shelf, and you are now alone in the loft.
I should put my clothes back on. Dear Lord.
I was
Please
going to
do.
say.
Everyone else had.
Did you ever have a wedding dress, Ray?
I don't want to talk about that, Brick.
Yeah, fair. All right, let's go.
You guys return downstairs and enjoy the rest of your night's sleep. In the morning, when you awaken, there is breakfast and a note from Eric, basically saying, he's made sausages and eggs and some toast, and that he has some duties to take care of during the day in town. Again, you are welcome to stay the night, the following night, and that dinner will be at sunset.
Is the breakfast of a large portion? Or
It is a much larger portion now. You can see that he's kind of taken Brick's words to heart. Yeah.
When I finish eating, I'm gonna be like, "Thank you so much for that really nice meal. It was good, Ray. I'm thanking people now. We really need to get that water thing, the asthma. We really
need to
get
fix
asthma.
this.
I smack Finn in the head.
Ow!
Sorry, you broke up there. Nick, what'd you say?
Did that help?
No, I just got a headache now.
Oh, my bad.
I appreciate the effort. See, it's happening again.
All right.
Oh.
Where would you like to?
He's out of control.
Where would you like to go?
Are we doing the job for her first, or are we gonna go get the stuff? You know what? Screw her job. Let's go get the stuff.
Yeah.
I think here's the thing with rituals. Manfred can probably explain better, but I can't imagine we can do it without her.
Yeah, I think we're gonna.
I've
need
never
her
done
guidance.
one before, but
But she's a wedding dress now. How are we gonna? So do we just take the dress there?
No, I think we'll bring the water to her.
Oh, that's way easier. Great idea.
So
So
we should probably curry her favor first, right, Manfred?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm in a Ryan voice. Yeah, I think that's I don't think she's gonna help us until we help her.
Your Ryan is showing.
I mean,
so
No one wants that.
there's no chance she's actually secretly a vengeance ghost and she's setting up her husband to fall in love with someone else and then she's just going to stab him.
you know, that would be
Ah,
cool.
betrayal. That's what I would do.
That seems a lot of steps.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, if she's bound to a wedding dress, maybe she can't. I don't know. But it'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we go to the water now, right?
Well, I think we got to do the thing with the other lady and get.
Oh yeah, the
her
bridge
on.
thing. Right. Yeah.
Too
No,
much
I did.
thinking,
No, no,
guys.
I'm
Manfred,
gonna-
just lead the way. Everybody follow Manfred.
I go to a blank stare for a moment, opening up my quest log, which is just my notes.
Right. Gathering up what you have, you leave the house, and as you do so, Manfred, I need a dexterity saving throw from you.
From me, dexterity. What are you mad?
The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
Dexterity saving. Oh God.
You have glasses and you roll bad perception. Maybe you'll
you
get
want my
great.
danger?
You
Never mind.
Yes.
Look at that.
I'm a
I knew
goddamn
it was-
ninja.
I knew it was about to happen. As you step out the door, you can see on the floor there apparently is a bottle with a note in it. You avoid tripping over it incredibly narrowly. No, actually,
And
you
do
do
a
it like
goddamn flip.
you watch as Manfred just sort of he just sort of flies over the bottle and onto the other side before picking it up.
I think the term we established a little while ago was flappy birding.
Flappy birding, yes, that's right.
Right.
Do you inspect the bottle?
Flappy
The thing?
I sure do.
You
Hope we don't have to roll perception on this bottle.
open it up, and as you pull it out, there appears to be a note. It is written in quite a quizzical handwriting on the back of what appears to be a coaster. As it reads the following. Sorry, I need to get my voice right, so bear with me for a moment, as I did not bring liquids into my studio.
Into me.
Into me either.
That's
how I
get some
absorb
liquids
moisture.
into me.
I will bring moisture into me. So. Greetings, humans! It is I, the fabulous human! Bet you thought you'd seen the last of me. But, turns out, I have found a safe haven, and I wish to invite you to come and see me perform tonight, as I perform a series of 400 ballads at the Lady Tiefling establishment
Oh.
Manfred,
find
what
it
did it
along
what
the
did it
Western
say?
Road.
Is the parchment actually speaking?
No, but I'm just on the X.
Manfred, why are you reading it in a weird voice?
So I felt compelled. I don't know why. It's a very convincing piece of parchment.
Those acting lessons from the skull really paid off. You sound exactly like him. Like,
Do we
to a
still
T.
have the? Do we still have? Oh no, that was Hugh.
That's Hugh.
Yeah, that is the skull. Hugh is the skull.
Yeah.
All right. There are directions. You flip to the back of the coaster, and there are directions to what appears to be a small halfway house, not too far away. It appears to be labeled as a tea shop. It's about maybe a 15-minute walk along the road there. But that's apparently where Hugh is and where he's been.
With an invitation for an event in the evening.
Yeah. He's claiming that he is to perform 400 of his finest ballads.
Is that-
to-
we have somewhere where we surely should not be in the evening. Perhaps we should visit during the day, in the afternoon, possibly the next day. I've got so many ways of not being there tonight.
But that's when he's performing. We gotta go see him.
I forgot
saved
you're
our
an
life.
admirer of the literature arts now.
No.
A nerd.
No.
Nerd. It's all right, buddy. I know you're real brave.
Thank you.
Aren't we supposed to be doing something?
Yes. Well, if the note doesn't change your plans, you will begin to make your way towards the river's edge and the lumberyard. Now, I sadly don't have a lumberyard map. By the way, Eddie, can we put a promo for the maps, for the Map Guys Patreons in here? We have all the maps that we use for the show are donated by these two absolutely amazing artists who do maps. Go check them out. Go give them support. Go tell them the Dead Aussie Gamer sent you. Seriously, the tiers and the maps that you get from these guys are truly spectacular, and I love every single one of them. So yeah, we'll have them in chat for you in a second. All right. Now, sadly, I don't have a map, but instead, Eddie, can we get a picture of Patricia on that little down thing? Thank you. All right. The group makes their way towards the river's edge, following nearby where they had once saved that man who had fallen into the river, who had been working the lumberyard. His name, for those of you who don't remember, is Kellen. As you approach, you can see a number of lumberjacks working hard, and the river has now regained its strength. Being now quite a large river, you can see that a few of them are sort of pulling on what appears to be this large chopped down log. Heave! Yeah! Heave! Yeah! As they pull it into the river, they begin to guide it towards the docks using ropes, walking along the river's edge. There, you can see across the river a woman foreman, basically keeping them instructed and holding onto one of the large ropes. As this individual has stark white hair, these beautiful deep blue eyes, and slung across her shoulder is what appears to be more of a Viking axe than a woodsman's axe. Her rippling muscles kind of, keeping everyone in check and helping avoid the log slipping downstream. All right, you guys arrive at this particular scene, and there she is on the chat there.
Hey, I've had an idea, guys.
I like ideas.
What do you think?
What's that?
If we're heroes, right?
Mhm.
It's going to be super weird. But I think we should try to use our hero status to get her to maybe come to dinner with us or something. And maybe we could invite the sheriff and set up a date thing. You said Hugh-Man was performing. I mean, he's pretty good, right? I mean, I don't know a lot about this nerdy stuff, Finn, but I mean, he was a great actor. I mean, completely over the top, but maybe he could set the mood and we could set up a date thing.
Yes, all the pieces are
What if is the letter addressed to us specifically from Hugh-Man?
Yes, it's specifically addressed to each of you.
What if we change the name on it, or we just rip that bit off and then give it to her, and she thinks that she's been invited on this cool date, and then we write a counterfeit letter, hand it to the other guy, the sheriff man, and then we set up the date for them. And she's like, "Oh, what's in this letter? I suppose I should go to this sick concert."
And do you have any sort of skills in forgery or counterfeiting?
Oh,
As
that's how I made my living.
as Finn kind of contemplates this, inviting her to the night of 1,000 ballads or 400 ballads, the number keeps going up. You look over as the log has made it to the dock. She then sort of spits on the ground and punches Kellen in the arm as they begin to cheer and sort of seem super happy that they've managed to get the log there. All right, you lazy dogs, let's keep moving. And you watch as all the men sort of groan ugh, as they make their way over back to the next set of trees that they're going to cut down. You kind of get the impression that maybe she's not the ballad type.
Yeah, she'll love it.
Here's the thing, Brick, would you love a ballad?
What is that, like a hot dog? What's that?
Yeah, I think yeah, okay.
Yeah, I love a ballad.
I'd already counterfeited the letter.
I reckon I could eat 12 ballads.
Maybe you could counterfeit a different letter. Maybe we could say there's mud wrestling.
What if we make them wrestle?
You got to be really careful, Brick. A ballad doesn't come with any meat.
Well, what's the point of it?
It's a ballad. It's like a salad. Never mind.
I got it.
Thanks, Ryan.
I still haven't got it. So
he said it, mate.
I still don't get it. So what? You want me to write another letter saying to come to some mud wrestling at the tavern?
Yeah.
Cute guys are coming as well.
Can I go?
Maybe we should talk to her and see what she likes. This is getting crazy.
There's a couple of things that cross your mind as you watch, because you're kind of nearish the docks as well. You can see that Thomas, the the dockmaster, the halfling whom you helped with the anniversary gift and stuff like that, is also in the area. If you guys are obviously looking for a way to entertain and do that sort of thing, it might be a good port of call as well. Alternatively, yes, you can approach her and ask her directly, hey, what do you like? If that's your thing.
Should one of us ask her, or do we ask the weird man?
Well, let's talk to Thomas.
All right.
The little one.
We've got that's a contact that at least knows us.
He is quite romantic, remember? I mean, apart from the borrowing of ex-girlfriend's letters, I mean, his wife seems to like him, so I mean, there's...
I still have the poem that he wrote too.
We got rid of him.
I kept it in my pocket and never told the DM, so I still have it.
Are you
He
saying
just
the
never
ghost
said
is
that I
still
brought it
alive?
up.
Are you saying the ghost is still alive then?
No, we're not talking about that. We're gonna keep that one under wraps right now. All right, you make your way over to the
outfit has
dockyard.
rewritten the poem.
Yeah.
You find the
Maybe
poem
it's a
has suddenly got like
counterfeit,
4 extra lines, and every time you look at it, it's got more words in it, and you're like, that's weird. All right, you end up on the docks where you can see the halfling hard at work with the rest of the sailors. They're talking about shipping the lumber onto a large barge and sailing it down towards Altridge. As you approach, the halfling greets you warmly and says, it's you fellas. It's so good to see you. I heard about the chaos last night. Are you all right, love? She says, looking at Ray. I heard you had a nasty run-in with some big nasty with teeth.
Yep, all good. Nothing to see here.
Oh, yeah.
Just in the normal way that people get hurt and recover.
Well, that's fantastic. It's good to hear. Oh, by the way, anniversary present went off like a charm. We danced, we schmoozed. Even old Simon, he lent me use of his gondola. It's a beautiful river craft there. I set her out on the river. The mood was beautiful. The fireflies were out. And yeah, it was almost like we were kids again. Almost like it was like a very first date.
Geez, you really turned that crap show around. That's great.
Well, I didn't actually forget our anniversary. I just forgot where I buried our gifts. I mean, in my defense,
Yes,
I buried it like 10 years ago.
That's all too strange. We need love help.
You're clearly an
And of
expert,
course,
you
we're
know.
coming to you because you can take things that have gone real bad and make them sound wonderful. So you're probably the right person for the job.
Did Martha put you up to this? I mean, I know I might not be terribly good at all this romance stuff, but I'm surely not shite at it. But yeah,
Oh, no, you're great at it. That's why we're genuinely asking you. Geez, I can't help the sarcasm, all right? It's very difficult to be nice.
Okay.
Phil, you go. You're very good at this whole nice thing.
I'm imagining
right.
the 4 of us just like towering over him, like, tell us how to love. Do it.
Okay. Well, first of all, you have to know, of course, what you're working with. If of course your fair lady likes a
Patricia, pretend it's Patricia.
Yeah, good example.
He starts laughing. He's like, I'm starting to understand your sarcasm. That's a good one.
Commit to the game. Pretend it's Patricia. Commit.
Yeah.
Do it all.
Yes, and
Well,
Nice.
do you have any kind of magic at all? Like, spellcastery type,
Rick's a
type of thing?
wizard.
I'm a
Yep.
wizard.
All right,
He
do you have like a charm person-y kind of thing?
I can make people disappear.
That's not true. What are you saying about Patricia? Is she just...
Patricia, she's an old hatchet. That one is the phrase that we usually use around here. She's married to her work and has been so for so long. Some say that she used to have
Easy, we kill the work, we burn it down.
Preferably not, as it's our only form of income. And
Okay.
oh God, I can only
Okay.
imagine what that woman would do if she had time on her hands. Good Lord.
Who's this time?
Like the clock, time, existential passage of one period to another.
I got it. I'm not an idiot. I'm actually a nerd.
Sarcasm again. I get it. I'm picking up your lingo quite well. Sorry, we live on the docks. We don't travel as much as you fine folk. But going back to it, listen. if you can find yourself a bard, I mean, they're quite adept at setting the right kind of moods. If I were going to schmooze Patricia, I definitely would not want to be alone with that woman. And definitely somewhere that's isolated, because I mean, any excuse for that woman to let loose would be just absolute trouble. You know what? I tell you what, if I were running it, I'd do the gondola thing, right? You're out on the river, it's near the trees, it's out in the wild. That woman's about as wild as it gets, Yeah, but definitely either a copious amount of alcohol or a bard if if you were talking about Patricia.
Isolated.
Bard's like an acting coach
Well,
that can sing.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what most bards can do. Yeah, I suppose. And I also have this.
Ray, I've got a really good idea.
If only there was someone.
Yes, Manny?
Human.
Yes, that's what I was alluding to. Well done. Yes, good. Wonderful.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm stepping on Brick's dumb excited character mode.
Yeah, so is Finn. Get your own characters, guys.
All right. Do you guys rush off at this point, or are you?
I'm gonna.
We are completely terrible at people. I'm just yes. Let's get human.
All right. As you rush off, he seems to be holding that. I had some cologne. It's all right. It smells like sardines anyway. All right. You sprint off. He's this guy is so confused. He now thinks that one of you is trying to hit on Patricia, which is interesting.
Wrong.
It's like, oh, nice guys. I'm gonna miss them.
Oh no.
All right. I am now going to share with you the next map. Please bear with me. Now, I would like to do a shout out while we're doing this as well. Eddie, if you can type this in chat as well, twitch.tv/Lady Tiefling. Now, Lady Tiefling is another channel that does live play RPGs and stuff. And this entire facility, this entire place is inspired, of course, by her character and I suppose her persona.
Oh, that's so cool.
All right. You travel for about 15 minutes outside of town, and as you begin to approach what appears to be this incredibly gorgeous-looking multi-story tea house, it's also kind of like a halfway house, so you can see that there's accommodations and the like. You can also see that there is a number of patrons moving in and out through this area. You can see there's this aromatic smell of just freshly brewed teas of all different shapes and sizes. If for example, Willy Wonka made tea instead of chocolate, this is what this place would look like. The walls are oh, actually, you know what? Has anyone watched Spirited Away? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Recently.
There's a scene in the boiler room, and if you haven't, it's on Netflix. There's a scene in the boiler room where there's this spider-like dude that sort of pulls different herbs for the baths in all these different drawers.
Mm-hmm.
The walls are covered in these types of things with all kinds of different herbs and spices and teas and leaves. And you can see that there's just this wall of these glass tumblers filled with brimming hot and even ice cold different types of teas. Yeah, it is so festive in here. You would almost imagine that this place was a tavern, except almost nothing is alcoholic.
Almost nothing.
Yeah.
Some ranges of kombucha, maybe?
There is, of course, some very strong, very special types of tea that are also served. The Long Island is considered to be quite popular.
What kind of witchcraft did human do to get a gig here?
The aromas.
Looking around, despite the emptiness of the map that I've got, as you enter the thoroughfare, you guys can move yourselves up if you so wish.
I do wish.
You can see that the place does have about maybe a dozen people lining around the area, most of which are the guests for the evening. Behind the counter, you can see a rather fetching pink tiefling with kind of like bull-like horns and these very, very deep black eyes. She seems to be brewing what appears to be this almost a vapor-like tea into this small cup. You can't smell it from where you are, but you can tell it's so light. The crazy thing is the guest that is about to consume it appears to be a hooded ghoul. Pointed ears, white skin, bloodshot eyes, with a hood over himself. She walks over and she says, "Here you go, dear. That'll be 3 copper."
Thank you.
As he sort of inhales it, you hear the sounds of screaming coming from the teacup.
This place relaxes me so.
Oh, it's always lovely to have you here, Gareth, as well. If you want a second cup, please help yourself. I'll leave the teapot here, yeah?
Thank you.
She then begins to sort of move back behind the bar, back and forth. Next to her, sort of off, I suppose, to your left, is a small stage where there appears to be a skeleton. Can we zoom in on this skeleton, please, Eddie? Let's zoom right in here as you recognize this individual. Next up, I would like to dedicate this song to the location and destruction of all humans. He begins to strum. Sorry, I'm out of tune. And then you hear this beautiful strum from a guitar. He begins to speak almost like silk as this very Spanish ballad begins to pour out of his mouth. Every now and then you hear words like eviscerate, lacerate, exsanguinate, in reference to, of course, humans, that when he one day captures them, he will one day be acknowledged by his friends, who are apparently a ghost, a lizard folk, a porcupine, and what appears to be a green golem.
Seems familiar.
And one day they will recognize me as the truly talented skeleton I am. They will take me back to the dungeon and not think that I'm some ham. Oh, thank you. My friends, I have found you. I mean, you have found me, but you're a little early. My performance isn't for a while. It's fully booked out. He looks around. There is no one around him. In fact, people seem to be generally avoiding his area of the tea shop.
That makes sense.
Great.
Also, I have made a great discovery. Behold, my new secret power since awakening to my name as human. He reaches behind himself. He rips his spine out. He shrinks down a little bit. And he has a saxophone in his hand. He begins to play like this smooth jazz, which, despite the incredible awfulness of his singing, because he's got something in his mouth which is stopping him from talking, it is actually like this smooth, sexy, epic sex guy level, like suave tunes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How does he use a saxophone if he doesn't have lungs?
Ooh,
The same way he sees without eyeballs.
Touche.
magic lung.
Shut your eyes.
All right. He goes, it still doesn't quite sound quite right. Not as nasal as I'd like it to be.
No, you should keep it like that. It's pretty good.
Hey,
Should we move over to maybe around the table?
That's a good point.
can you make people fall in love?
Can I make people fall in love? He moves over to the table where you guys are.
Taking a seat each.
He goes, of course, music is the language of love. If I am not proficient, then no one is. For the words that stream from my lips are like a kiss from a cherub.
But jeez, Hugh, just answer simply. My goodness. This is why your friends get real frustrated. Just yes or no?
His feather droops from his hat. Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
Sorry,
She's
that's
nice.
No, it's quite all right. I've been told it multiple times. He rattles his ears. A tomato falls out. It's like rotten. It lands on the table.
Oh.
Can I eat it?
Yes. Oh.
Sorry, Hugh. Just channeling the old dungeon Ray. We just need to get on with business.
No, quite all right. How can I help you? Can I buy you a round of tea? It's quite delicious.
Yes,
In fact,
yes,
that's
you
all I'm
can.
getting paid in.
Yes, please. What is the deal with this place? You're a skeleton. We saw I believe a ghoul.
At this point, the pink tiefling arrives. She looks at you and she says, "Well, isn't this a bit of a surprise? You're quite a long way from home, aren't you, Mister?" He looks at Manfred.
Manfred.
I didn't realize the Manticore came this far out.
You are, by honestly, the first person to even acknowledge that I was odd.
Oh,
Since we've got out around here. What is this crazy place? Not this establishment. This smells amazing, and I'm sure the tea is great. I mean,
oh, thank you.
everything around here is insane.
Well, that is definitely one way to put it. Well, this is the Lady Tiefling, a shop that I own for catering to unusual individuals, such as yourselves. You see, a long time ago, people got into their heads what monsters were, and they're not really accustomed to them anymore. You see, a lot of people look at a tiefling, and they simply see another person who is, still human for the most part. But they
And
do
with
that.
horns?
Yes, of course. But much
Like they don't notice the horns?
uh, how can I put it? It's more like they see them, but they don't believe them. They'd sooner believe that their imaginations were playing up than they were a real thing. So I've been called an elf before. I've been called a satyr. Actually, that was quite nice. And a rather fetching gentleman once called me a rather interesting looking half elf. But they don't have the ability to see monsters for what they are. Even a more cursory view can make almost anyone see you as well, one of them. The only ones who have this ability are the heroes. They see monsters clear as day.
You know, people call me a little child or other mean names too. You know
Sort of
what?
chuckles. Well, at least you're not being called a halfling or a gnome child. That's
Oh, well, I have been though.
She
nice.
Oh, well, aren't you sweet? Can I get you something to drink? I have a lovely brew that comes from the Razor Coast. I'm sure that's that might be something that's to your taste.
Okay.
She leans in close to your ear and whispers to you. It tastes like bacon.
I love bacon.
She chuckles and says, "I'm sure you do." And something for the rest of you?
What was the gold drinking? The screaming thing?
Yes, that's what we like to call a tea, ales from the crypt.
And what does it do?
Well, it's more like the distilled essences of an emotion. It's a very
Whoa.
rare tea leaf that I found that really only the dead can drink, mostly because it's quite lethal to the living.
I wouldn't mind some vengeance tea.
I want it.
Of course.
I'm going to go with whatever your suggestion is because so far they seem incredible.
Well, there's a beautiful spiced tea that comes from the Manticore Kingdoms. I haven't yet brewed it myself, but I am very eager to try, as there is a very unique method of doing so. But to do so, may I ask, do you perhaps have a quill that you might lend?
Of course. And just like quickly sort of pull the tail up and like snap a quill off the tail. It's like, will this suffice?
Of course. Thank you. She'll take that and she sort of places it into her apron. And you, my fully grown adult grung friend?
See, I like this one. She knows how to respect a good person. Have you got any grung stuff you kind of personalized all these drinks. It's really exciting. I'm looking forward to mine.
All right, I'll get you something that'll surprise you.
Yeah, cool.
She will walk off behind and begin to brew tea. Now, the tea process itself is, as I said, almost magical. Manfred, your quill is basically ground, and a powder is kind of made that is then put into a small triangular bag and dipped into a large device that seems to be on a Bunsen burner and brewing the tea. As it does so, the tea itself almost has the consistency of water, then sand, as it brews.
Consistent tea.
Ah, I love it. That was awesome. That was a good one.
Was it though?
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Okay. I didn't.
Ray, you can see as a small urn is opened, and it seems to have the ashes of something that gets sprinkled into the tea, and you see that similarly, instead of being turned into sand, it turns into a vapor. Brick, your one is literally like you can hear the sound of a meat grinder in the kitchen beyond. That's all you can hear as far as your tea is making. And Stickyfingers, your tea is very strange. It comes in this strange circular device that seems to have tuning forks lodged into either side of it. And there seems to be this vibration that's happening on the inside. And you don't know how, because there's no water that's been added to it. But this liquid distills and drops into a decanter. Now that's what's happening in the background. So Hugh looks at you while the tea's going on. I imagine that you came to see my performance, to support me as my friends. Crickets.
We did.
Yeah,
We did.
crickets.
We did. We were also hoping you could put on a little show for some other friends of ours.
A private seating?
Yeah.
Yep.
He turns around and he
Almost
says
as
like
private as the ones you have currently.
he looks around again, no one around him. He goes, yes, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe I might be too busy. Don't be stupid. You hear coming from the tea area. But I'm really busy. There are my adoring fans to not disappoint, and they might. No, you don't. Just go there, you silly skeleton. You know what? I think my schedule cleared up. I will be delighted to perform a private concert for yourselves.
Oh no.
Oh God, no. I mean,
Well, we'll be there nearby from a safe distance, listening.
Giving support
see.
from a safe distance, yes.
And what is the theme of the performance? Shall I be doing a series of country western ballads, or perhaps a reading of one of my great sonnets?
don't talk. Just use the saxophone.
Shut your mouth.
As Brick said, shut your mouth and
Yeah.
play the saxophone.
But don't shut it while you're playing the saxophone. Like, open it slightly. Just don't talk. Yeah.
You're good and you're great. and we'll
But
take
how
you
else will
home.
I know
Shut
what
your mouth.
mood to set?
By just feeling the energy of the room.
You'll know in your heart.
Ah, I see.
I know
well,
you don't have one, but
well, okay. Yes, I believe I can make arrangements. Yes, of course, of course I can.
Sweet. Well, that was easy.
Do you tell him about the love date thing?
Let's give him enough broad strokes to get him sort of in the right thing. So
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So he'll prepare a couple of smooth, sexy love jazz type things.
Somewhere in the forest, I think. Yes.
In the forest.
Beautiful.
No, well, I can certainly make accommodations for that. The acoustics in the forest are incredibly specific. Yes, no, I can make that work. I can do that. All right.
Yep.
Shortly after your tea arrives and it gets poured out before you, each of you can make roll me a percentage, please, for each and every one of you. Now, to my audience members, I would like you to give me a number between 1 to 5. And Eddie, I'm going to get you to pick me one of those numbers. So, audience 1 to 5. Everyone else a percentage check.
never knew pink could be so pretty. Percentage?
So, if you want to roll percentage, just hold left click onto the D10, right click to pick it up, and then roll it. And then the first number is your will be your tens, and the second number will be your things. There you go. That is 62. That is 86. That is.
What am I pressing? Sorry.
So left click on the D10.
Left mouse, then right mouse.
Yeah, and then drop the dice. That's it.
Damn.
83, and
I'm still figuring it out. Oh, percent. Don't worry, I got it.
good job. All right, and that's a 55. All right, so Stickyfingers, you win. Eddie, what's our number?
Well, well.
What's our number, Eddie? Raise it up in your hands. I can see your hands. There you go. 3. 3 is our number. All right, Stickyfingers, you gain 3 advantage points from drinking your very specific tea.
That's pretty good.
All right. So as you guys drink your tea, it is absolutely amazing. Your spirit of vengeance, as you drink it, your hair erupts into flames, and those 2 little motes that follow you around also flare up in fire.
Oh my god.
Brick, you almost drink yours, and it feels as though even the singlest sip is incredibly heavy, almost like you've eaten like a whole roasted boar. Manfred, as you take a long and very, very aromatic sniff, your mind is cast back to your homelands and the smells of the peppered cactus, the milk of the 4-headed camel. All of these kind of very Saudi Arabian sort of aromas begin to permeate through your body.
Spices.
Stickyfingers, your one is very unique. As you drink yours, you don't experience it the same way the others do. It's not a taste, it's not a flavor, but your body begins to resonate. It begins to shift and move. Being quite rubbery boned and very lithe bodied, vibrations are very, very pleasurable to a grung. The noise is a rock ballad, like a New York punk rock band is basically playing inside your body as you drink the tea, which in this world, punk rock is basically grung music, or grunge, as it were.
Yeah. Sick.
So yeah, that is basically just coursing through your veins, which is why you have a very heavy boost to your advantages. Now you've got also an extra ability that you can use. Well, given that we're at 7 o'clock and we will be wrapping up now, you will be able to donate your advantages to anyone on the table next week. So there we go.
Ooh.
So our
What
heroes.
power.
So our heroes find themselves now captivated by, of course, the ever lovely human, ready to take on the task of setting up Eric Robbins on a date with Patricia Woods. They have yet to speak with either of these individuals. So what will happen next week? Will our guys end up successfully helping? Sorry, what was that? Eddie said something about I can't read it. No, that's fine. What will happen next week? Will our heroes manage to become heroes, or will they become villains? Will they manage to set up the lovely Patricia with the handsome Eric, or will everything go belly up and pots up? And of course, what the hell is happening to Lord Valiant? What's going to happen there? Find out next week as we return for Minion Quest. Before we sign out, of course, big shout out and thank you to a bunch of people who donated to us today. As always, Mr. Nuggets, thank you so much, dude. You are a absolute champion. Who else do we get stuff from? Eddie, throw them out first if you'd be so kind. I can't hear Eddie. I don't know why he's talking. We don't let you talk, Eddie. That's not how this works. You're not allowed to talk. Not after you got out last week. All right, as he's waiting for that, let's go around the table and do some promos. Let's of course start with Nick. Nick, what do you got going? What's up with you?
Hey, my name is Nicholas Allen. I do acting for fun and for money. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, Nicholas Allen, and I also do D&D for fun and for money. And you can find that on Facebook and Instagram as Flametongue Fables.
Very nice. And also from Flametongue Fables is none other than the lovely Ben. Ben, tell us, what have you got going on?
That is I. I am Ben Cossey on all forms of social media, including YouTube. I post a bunch of Lego content as well as Lego D&D content from time to time. May or may not be working on a Lego Minion Quest thing. I say may or may not. I actually haven't started yet, but I'm thinking about it. So get excited for that.
Very nice, very nice.
But yes, I'm also part of Flametongue Fables, like you said. That's a DM for hire service. So if you're interested in playing a game in these isolated times, head on over and check that out. On
No better
Facebook and
time.
Instagram.
No better time to be doing that, to be honest. Next up, of course, is the ever talented, ever lovely Ryan. Ryan, what do you get up to nowadays?
We're still kicking along with the podcast, even in the these isolation times, and the name for that podcast group is just getting more and more apt as we go along. It is Isolated City Gaming. We've got 3 different podcasts, D&D actual play ones, all available at isolatedcitygaming.com.
Very cool, very cool. And Tabatha, what have we got going on with you at the moment?
Merch, as always. Roll for Loot AU is the place to find that. We've been doing heaps of artist stuff. I know I said that last time as well, but obviously every business is adapting during isolated times, and we're no different. So you can still find us at Roll for Loot AU, or you can find me personally, which I have not advertised before and nervous to do so, but Fruity a Tingle on Instagram, which is, I guess, where I post cosplays and art stuff. And I am challenging myself to, I guess, post more stuff for people, because I'm getting, doing stuff and learning skills. So it'd be cool to be able to share that too.
Nice, nice, fantastic. And of course, speaking on behalf of Eddie, who is frantically typing away to tell me who I need to thank for donations. Or have I done that already? I've done it already. Okay, so it was just Mr. Nuggets. Okay, thank you, Mr. Nuggets.
MVP,
Mr. Nuggets. We have Eddie, who is currently getting have you started, Eddie? Is that thing? Have we started stuff? Not yet. Soon to be revealed is, of course, Tabletop Explorers, which is Eddie's channel, which he does also do live stuff and things like that. So definitely go give him a follow, and you get to see Eddie's glorious face as he goes on his own adventures. I wonder, actually, Eddie, I'm going to ask you this, because I feel like this is something I'm going to ask on behalf of the audience. Is Eddie, like the Eddie Tour, going to feature as a playable player character in one of your adventures? Yeah, I've got a nod, guys. So there you go. So something to look forward to. See Eddie in action on Tabletop Explorers. So there you go. All right. And for me, of course, you guys know where to find me. It's literally right here. Thank you so much to everyone who followed us today. Freddie Hines, dear friend of mine. Thank you so much, dude. Oh, geez. Okay, let's try this. Muso Scientifico. I feel like I said that wrong, but let's try it. Burnt Blacksmith.
Scientifico.
Yeah, Muso. Oh, Muso. Is that Muso? Like, yeah, okay, cool. Muso, by the way, very Australian thing. And of course, the blue collar psychiatrist, First Law, TTRPGs, Captain Malik, Warp Enigma, Fakey Blood Knight, and Grizzle. Thank you, guys. You guys have joined us recently, and you guys are incredibly awesome. So thank you so much for your love and support. And if you want to continue supporting the channel, of course, donating to the stream is fantastic. We also have at least I have a Patreon page at patreon.com/DeadAussieGamer. You guys can come and join me there. I run, for my $40 tier, guys, I run 2 games that you can also watch on this channel: Starfinder, Attack of the Swarm on Mondays, and Strange Aeons on Saturdays, which is Pathfinder 1st Edition. I am also opening up my commissions via Facebook, if you want to look at Facebook, DeadAussieGamer, where you can hire me to run games for you personally. These ones are like $15 Australian a session, which is basically bugger all right now. That'll only be available while this whole crisis is going on. I do have a busy schedule, but I want to do my part to helping you guys fight off cabin fever. So do take me up on it. If you want to chat with the crew and the like, we do have a Discord channel. Eddie, if we can plug the Discord channel for us, then that'd be fantastic.
Come join us on Discord.
Yeah. We do
Great way to kill time.
We share some of the artwork. We answer questions and things like that. So yeah, by all means, come say hi, hang out. We're gonna go raid someone right now, so we're going to sign off with the outro. But yeah, stick around as we go and raid one of our friends, Tesserae 12, and we shall raid them and give them the good old fashioned Aussie as we head over there. As always, guys, thank you for joining us today, and from us to you, as always, game hard or die trying. Bye bye.